If you are interested in promoting your brand, your music, or even yourself here on Viral Hip Hop News, email me, Sam Ent, at dlsmediainc1 at gmail.com. Let's go.
It's insane. It's just insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of piggybacking off of that, since we talked the last time, there's been an influx of female hip hop artists, but the ones that seem to be pushed to the forefront, like your Sexy Reds, your Glorillas, your Cardi B still doing her thing, and some others, Lotto, but they all kind of got the same type of message. The hold'em, the whoredom, the slutism, sleeping around, talking to different guys. Sexy Red has went even so far to come out with a gloss brand, names like Sex on My Period, Booty Hole Brown, and some other very vulgar things, and primarily targeting children. A lot of young girls are watching Sexy Red, emulating Sexy Red, getting on camera twerking. What is going on with the female influence in hip hop? It's totally pornographic. So I want to get a woman's perspective. I feel like when we talk about it, people feel like we're bullying and we doing this. So I want to get your perspective, on how you feel about it.
Sex sells is what they say. So I feel like people are still playing into that. And the people who are going to go out here and buy that lip gloss, it show you what vibration that they're on. I wish I wish my niece would ask me for that lip gloss. I wish my niece would. It starts with the parent. It starts with the elder. It starts with the older, supposedly more responsible, more wise person. It starts with us with telling our daughters no, our children no. That's where it starts. But I have to say, it still is a double standard in hip hop. Men can talk about being whores, having this woman, having that, bragging about their sexual escapades. And so women want to be a part of that conversation too. And they're told, hey, you talk about this is what will get the hits. And you know what the record label gonna say? They're gonna say that people are buying it, so we're gonna continue to do it. It's always been like this. It's always gonna be some female rapper somewhere who can rap her ass off, but nobody's paying attention to her like they are a person like Sexy Red. That's just how the game goes. So until more people change their vibration and feed into something more positive, this is exactly what you're going to continue to see. Because all you got to do is put a hot beat under some funky lyrics, and there you go. It's going to sell. Or put a dance to it, and people going to love it.
Right.
How,
So,
how
so
go, cuz my bad.
let me real question,
What do you
real
think?
quick. How does what does this say about our people, black people, minorities in general, that we, are majorly influenced by this? We're influenced. I see the young girls. It may not be all of them. Some of them that got the good backgrounds, the role models and aunties and stuff, but the ones that's in the hood, the street, with the lack of guidance, they Sexy Red Juniors. They
Mhm.
doing all that stuff. So what does that say about
Mhm.
our communities that we allow people like this to come in and be major influences on our children?
I don't like online when I see black men and women, or just men and women in general, going back and forth. You ever seen them online and they just going back and forth so much? It seems like men hate women, and women hate men.
Yep.
Yeah.
But one thing I do get from those conversations is that it seems like people expect better from women. People expect women to carry themselves in a respectful way, because they're shamed when they're not. And so I want to ask men that if you are the true leader, or supposed to be the leader of the household, ask yourself, what does that mean? Because are women just responsible for themselves and the ideas, what they feel, how they have to sexualize themselves? What should happen is, sometimes if you're a male and you have a niece or a daughter, sometimes check them in a respectful way. Let them know what a respectful woman looks like to a man. Not tell them how to be a woman, but let them know that is not respectful for you to go out there and show all of your body. Let them know that a real man don't respect a woman that does that. Sometimes that's the kind of conversation that we need to have with each other. Not ones where we're trying to break each other down. Like I can come up to a man and say, hey, a real woman don't want to see a man with his pants hanging down to his knees. That's not what we want. What's wrong with us having those kind of conversations? I think that's what's missing. And people don't have no shame no more. How can you name your lip gloss? I'm gonna go back to the lip gloss. How can you name your lip gloss after your period? Growing up, I didn't even want to do. No, I even had a period, and now you got women just putting that on front blast, on Front Street, naming it after STDs. Are you kidding me? Somebody, it didn't even have to be your parents. Somebody in your neighborhood would look at you like you were crazy when they saw you doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Now we can't even tell each other children nothing because we ready to fight the person who was trying to tell them what was right.
Yeah.
So we need to both work on ourselves. I mean, if you look at old pictures of Black people from back in the day, even the 50s, 60s, 70s, when we went out, we were dressed. Even if they were poor, they were dressed to their best ability. Now I go out and I see boys with what you call it, bonnets on. I'm like, a man with a bonnet on?
Whole generation of them bulls out there doing
it. A man with a bonnet on. I'm seeing females with slippers on, pajamas on. Now, if I ever done that before, it's because I'm going from the hair store to get my hair done. But just to be out there with a bonnet on, and when Monique said it, everybody got mad. But for what? She's telling the truth. Mm-hmm. Black people, we used to carry ourselves with so much dignity.
Yep.
Where has that gone? Where has that gone? Nothing's like it used to be.
Absolutely right. Now you was cooking on that. You was getting to the root of some real deep rooted issues that we go through for sure. I want to go back just a little bit. You said that if your niece were to do it, you'd be all over. How old is your niece? What type of music does she listen to? And is she influenced by what she hears out here? Because I mean, my son's 16, about to be 17 in a couple of weeks, and he listens to it all. But at the same time, he listens to R&B. He listens to things that I've introduced him to throughout his childhood. Now that he don't listen to music with me, but I hear him listening to the things that I used to show him. So I'm like, all right, word, he still has it in him, but he still listens to his bullshit too, or the stuff that he likes to listen to. How influenced is your niece with the music, and does she listen to Sexy Red? Does she listen to these females in hip hop?
If she listens to Sexy Red, I don't know nothing about it. The last person that I knew she liked was Ariana Grande, but she said, Auntie, I'm not listening to her anymore because I heard she was into witchcraft. So my niece is like a little conspiracy theorist, and she's into knowing who's doing what, who's worshiping Satan. If they worshiping Satan, she don't want nothing to do with it, so she's on that type of tip. So you ought to know that with an auntie named Kera Dangerous. So she's 14. She got her own mind already. She plays piano. She's fluent in Mandarin. She's much smarter than I am, and I'm so happy about that because that's what we should be aiming for, is making sure the youth is gonna do better than what we have done.
That's awesome to hear, Kara, for real.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
Niece daughter.
So
she's my niece, but she's like a daughter. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I want to get back to what you were talking about as far as men hating women, women hating men, because you see, even on social media now, and that seems to be the root of a lot of these issues, social media. But you see now women wanting a certain value man. She can't be with a man unless they make a certain dollar amount or they're of certain value. And the man can't get with a woman because they don't trust them, or they hoes, or they've been with this body or that body, or they're independent and they don't know how to understand the dynamic of a woman who's independent. But it just seems like at the end of the day, it's all just kind of tearing us apart, and we can't get back to the roots. You're talking about old pictures. You immediately took me back to O and I's grandparents and taking pictures back then in the class that they had, even as they went throughout their day, that it was class personified. It was one accord. They didn't have to talk to each other all day because my grandpa was outside, my grandma was inside doing whatever, both working one accord. And I'm not saying that all women got to wash the dishes and all men need to be out there mowing the grass, but it just seems like the dynamic has just changed and been forgotten so much. And now it's just rift. Why do you think that is? And what can we do to kind of start getting that back, in particular in our culture?
You know, that's a loaded question because look at how the family has gone down. And I'm not necessarily talking about the dad not being in the home or the mother being on drugs, anything like that, but family just not what it used to be. And maybe it's just my family, I don't know, but cousins can't stay in touch like they used to. Where you know, if you blessed to have grandparents, are they in your life? Do you listen to them?
Mm.
Even little things like I was discussing this with my mom, getting a letter in the mail.
Talk
Do
about
you know how special getting a letter in the mail used to feel?
it.
You
Yeah.
used to be so happy that that person took out the time to write you a letter. But now we got people who don't even want to talk on the phone. They want to send you a text message. Back in the day, people had to plan to come visit you from state to state. My mom was telling me when she was a little girl, when a cousin came, they would come all the way from up north down to Georgia, and you would see them more often than you do now. And they didn't have no internet or no text messages or no, they had to really travel to
Yeah.
come see you, and they were reaching out to each other more then than we do now.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So some of those sweet old things that we used to have, we need to bring them back. Even when I called my doctor's office and I gotta, or call a bill place, and I gotta listen to an automated voice service, automated message. Even having that has taken us away from what we used to be. Why can't I get somebody on the phone to talk to me, to make me feel better about an issue and give me that human experience? The more we get away from connecting to each other, the worse off we are. It
Absolutely.
happens little by little. And then once we wake up one day, we look around and we say, where are we? Where are we? Remember when all the cases about the Me Too movement were coming out, and then men started to say they're afraid to even come up and speak to women? I've seen women online saying that men seem like they don't even want to come holler at them no more. Now we got guys afraid they're gonna catch a case for just saying, "Hey, you look beautiful. Can I get your number?" But
Yeah.
this is all because it's being pushed on us. Start back connecting with your people.
Absolutely.
Put the phone down for a little while.
Hmm.
Go see your people. Make sure they're okay. Check on them. But really, it starts all with self. It starts all with self and that healing. It's not gonna get any easier. The Bible told us that you can believe what you want to believe, but the writings are on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Kind of moving into the next topic. Diddy, I want to ask you about how you feel about his situation and